episode of Making It Work. I've been doing a little experiment for about 6 months. I poured this off of the starter about 6 months ago, and it's just been living in this jar in my refrigerator. And somebody told me that it might be able to just be fed and be active again. So I am going to do an experiment and see if it's true. So this is the one that I regularly use. I regularly feed it, regularly use it. And this is the one that's been poured off from about 6 months ago. So we shall see what we can get here. So I'm gonna feed this one with about a heaping half cup of flour, and this one is actually going to be more like 2/3 to 3/4, probably about 3/4 of a cup of flour, because there's not much in that flour. I'm using organic unbleached flour and water that has been filtered through the Berkey. So for this one I'm going to do a little less than a half a cup of water, just because there's a lot of starter there. It just needs a little feed. And this one's going to be a good half cup, and I'll do a little more if I need to. So let's just stir everybody up here. This one, it's been like, I don't know, probably more like 11 days rather than 7, but I've done that lots of times and I've never had a problem, so it should not be problematic. I'm making this pretty thick. Well, this one's already bubbling, I can see it. I know it's active. What I'll probably do with this one is just pour off and let it be for another week. Let it go back to living in the fridge for another week. Stir this up good. Okay, that's that one. And then let's stir up this guy. Okay, that's fairly thick, but not quite as thick as the other one was. Ooh, I don't even know what that smells like. We'll see what happens. This is thick. It's not bubbly. It's almost like putty. Like a thin putty. It doesn't even really smell like sourdough. It's weird. It's got like a sweet smell to it. Let's see what happens here. That was about a cup that I had poured off and saved in anticipation of seeing if it would still be able to become active again. Okay. weird. It almost has like an apple smell to it. This will be interesting. I know that there are ways people dry starter and save it, but I've never tried to do that. I've always just kept it in the fridge and fed it and poured off if I didn't want to make anything. So we will check these in about 8 hours and see what's going on with them. Okay, it has been about 8 hours and this is what it should look like. Nice and bubbly and frothy almost, because that's the good one that I've fed and kept current. And this is one that sat for 6 months. There's, let's see, probably 8 or 10 bubbles, and this one is complete bubbles. So I'm not sure what to think about this one. It smells a little more like sourdough now. I thought what I might do is just try to let it sit for about 3 days, pour a little bit off, save some, and then let it sit for about 3 days and feed it again and see what happens with that. But I'll keep you posted. Okay, this is part 2 of trying to reactivate the starter that had been sitting in the refrigerator for like 6 months or so. So I am again going to feed them both. I didn't have time to feed during the week, or I didn't think of it, or whatever. Things have been a little bit cray-cray at pre-K. So I've got a heaping cup of organic, all-purpose, unbleached flour. I'm gonna do about close to a half a cup of water for each of them to keep my starter on the thicker, drier side. That one's pretty full. And I'll stir those up and stir these 2 starters back in. This is the one that's been fed regularly, like about once a week or every 10 days at the most. And then this is the one that's been sitting in the fridge untouched for about 6 months. So yeah, I'm making this really nice and thick. I think it helps keep the starter from separating as much in the fridge. Just keeps it a little on the drier side, thicker side, whatever. Okay, yeah, this starter that's been fed regularly is very bubbly and very active. You can just tell. It's wanting to do something. It is alive. I'm hoping that there's a spark of life left in that one. It'll be an interesting experiment either way. Okay, I'll stir this up. Put the pink lid on it. And we'll... Oh! I wish you could see it. It's doing something. It's bubbly. I think there is a spark of life left in it. Okay, if this one does bubble up well and act like it's alive, I will attempt to make something out of it. What should I make? I don't even know. Decisions. Artisan loaf, regular, basic loaf, biscuits, pretzels. I'll think of something. Okay, that one's in the red one. We will check it later. I'll let you know how it turns out in about 8 or 10 hours. Okay, it's been close to 8 hours and things are looking very promising in here. Woo! It is alive! It's actually got more bubbles in this one than in the one that's been fed regularly. So I am going to say that after 6 months of sitting in the refrigerator, pretty much untouched, I fed it once, waited a week, I fed it again, and it is very active. So I'm gonna go ahead and mix up some kind of dough. I don't know what I'm gonna do, probably just a basic bread dough. And we'll see what happens. I'm very excited about this. It is the next morning, and I am pleased to report that this is a very, very active starter again. So it sat dormant in the fridge for 6 months, about, I don't know, several months, 4 to 6 months, I don't remember for sure what it was. I fed it that first time and it seemed to kind of activate a little bit, but not a whole lot. Poured some off. And then I fed again a week later and it's been able to do this. So I'm very, very pleased with that. And I'm gonna kind of make a pizza dough and make a few small loaves, and that's just really interesting to me. So as far as I'm concerned, this is a good experiment, and it definitely still worked. It's still active. So thanks for watching this episode of Making It Work. Like and subscribe. That's the best way to kind of help our channel out. Appreciate it.